Hello everyone. I am Deepika and I'm your host for today. I head the pre-sales for media and entertainment industry at Tata Elxsi. So I welcome you all to today's webinar on AI and DeepSeek and its impact on media and entertainment industry. And if you're working on creating, managing, and monetizing the content and wondering how AI is affecting the industry, so you are at the right place today. We have been all hearing about the deep seeks over last couple of weeks. So in today's exciting discussion, we will understand what is DeepSeek, how it is impacting the industry, how it is benefiting the media industry, in fact, and how it's different from the other platforms. So let me start with the quick introductions. So today we have Mr. Mohan Jairam, who is from Bain and Company. He is an AI and analytics expert. He is going to educate us on DeepSeek today. Joining by him, we have Mr. Bisjit Biswas, who is a chief data scientist, and he heads the AI Center of Excellence at Tata Elxsi, who is going to help us with the technology evolution. And then we have Mr. Ajay Meher, who heads the business for media and communication industry. He's going to tell us about how it is impacting the business. So let's have a quick view at the agenda for today. So we'll start with DeepSeek. It is its rapid rise, and then we'll move towards the breakthrough efficiencies it is promising to all of us. And then we will talk about what we are doing at Tata Elxsi, how we are taking it at the Tata Elxsi, and then we'll move towards our perspective on how it is helping media and entertainment industry in gaining the efficiencies through the DeepSeek, how it is helping us in better understanding and adopting to the AI use cases. Uh, so, uh, so let's start. So, my first, let's bring our first guest, Mr. Mohan. So, Mohan, tell me one thing. We all been hearing about the DeepSeek last couple of days, and it's making lot of headlines. In fact, it has affected everything from stock market to the different companies. So, what is this buzz about? Can you share your view on this?
Sure, Deepika. Thanks for having me. Great to be here and to be talking about this interesting topic. To your point, Deepika, DeepSeek's been in the news for a couple of reasons. The first is performance. I mean, they put out their models and they seem to be comparing very well with the rival large language models that we are used to working with, like OpenAI's GPT-4 or Gemini and Meta's Llama 3.1, etc. But the bigger impact of what they have indicated is their claim that they have spent close to about $6 million to actually train their DeepSeek R1 model using largely second-tier chips rather than the high capacity chips that other models have used. To put this in perspective, OpenAI has today spent close to $1,800 million to train GPT-4. And Llama, again, has indicated that they've used close to about 16,800 GPUs. So close to about 40 million GPU hours that have been spent in this capability. So what's actually created the buzz is the performance of these models and the fact that they rival benchmarks on most fronts, and we'll talk a little more about this as we go ahead, that of the other top LLMs, and the fact that they managed to do it at a fraction of the cost. What this has basically done is brought the news of the ability of an LLM to be put together with much lower training costs at a period when there is starting to be a lot more scrutiny around AI budgets, investments, and the volume of GPUs, for example, that are needed to create state-of-art models. In a way, what's also been the buzz is that it's actually come out of China. in a place that has been constrained by their lack of access to the tech overall. So I think it's a combination of all of this and the fact that it's come at a time when people weren't expecting it as much. That's actually created the level of buzz that we are seeing right now, and the sort of downstream impacts, not just to the way people are thinking about looking at the large language models, but to stock prices and so on, which have taken few of these basic assumptions on training costs, etc., as the basis for their future predictions on prices.
Understood. Wow, that's something really good to know. But tell me one thing: how they are promising the efficiencies at such a lower rate as compared to their counterparts? What things they are doing differently as compared to others?
They've done a couple of things which, with the benefit of hindsight, we shouldn't be completely surprised with. For instance, what they have done is created a more efficient model architecture where they've increased training efficiency through knowledge distillation, some level of pre-training and transfer of learning, and through fairly efficient data augmentation techniques. They've done a lot of work in inference optimization in the space of efficient model architecture. The other thing that they've done is smarter data usage overall. They've used reduced precision arithmetic in getting this going. They've used reward functions to identify higher value examples. They've used some level of sparsity in parameter optimization overall. And they've looked at fairly targeted domain specific data that they've tried to put in place. In addition to that, they've done a lot of work, for example, on the hardware and system level optimization. For example, they are talking about uh, high speed, low latency networking between GPUs, optimized data transfers. And there's a lot of work that they're doing on the data center scale. So if we look at the key improvements that they have made in the architecture, on the model architecture side, they've brought in a mixture of experts, MOE architecture, that today activates roughly about 37 billion parameters out of about 671 odd billion parameters that typically made up the model. They've used distillation in a fairly big way. They've used reinforcement learning, and they've used MLAs, or multi-head latent attention, which reduces the overall memory overhead and does the utilization of resources a lot better. On the data usage side, they've actually done a lot of work in precision arithmetic using FP8 reduced memory usage by about 75%, allowing for efficient operation. We talked about reward functions. They've used that very effectively. And on optimization, they've actually done a lot of work in picking up some of the core pieces like CUDA, which is the base level code programming that the NVIDIA chips use, and replaced it with something from their side that they call PTX programming. They've done a lot on the load balancing side and some level of what we call the dual pipe algorithm to get this going. If I synthesize all of this, essentially what they've done is worked on the architecture and made it more efficient. They've used data and used it more smartly through the process. They've done a lot of work on hardware and system level optimization that lets them give performance that's very differential to what other people have put in to train these models in the past.
Got it. Got it. Understood now how they are able to reduce their computation cost. Understood. So let me turn towards BIS. BIS, like how do we see it at our Tata Elxsi and what we are doing at Tata Elxsi? Like, have we seen in terms of DeepSeek how it is different from the other platforms?
Sure. Thanks for bringing me in, and very nice to be here on this platform again, and welcome all the audience. So yes, Jaram gave a very good perspective of how these models have done differently, and at a fraction of cost, they have got the the performance breakthrough, which is only of kind of a dream. I mean, to get all this compact performance within this. Now in Tata Elxsi, we have been working with various models and see how best to serve our customers, and multiple different LLMs we work with at any given time of the day. And we also looked at the industry benchmarks, how they are reacting to this the DeepSeek performance. And overall, if you see that across the board, the performance is fairly median. I mean, and given the fact that they have only used a fraction of the computing cost of others, and still at the median performance, and some of them are as some of the benchmark. If you see the GPQA Diamond, they are a very very top benchmarks. I mean, this doesn't come so easily. GPQA is like a PhD level questions, curated questions, and this is called typically the Google proof, which means like these answers cannot be just by doing search engines. I mean, you can employ the best search engines, you will never be able to get the answer. It has to be, the answer has to be through a deep domain knowledge, logical reasoning, and step by step answering it. So that's the level of complexity. So a brute force compute cannot solve it unless the reasoning capability has been really, really ingrained into the model. So GPQ is one, the Math 500. There are 500 toughest math problems in all these calculus, algebras, number theories, and I can bet you. I mean, I tried some of those questions. Myself had to solve. I was hardly anywhere. So it was, very very tough benchmarks, and is able to get all that median with that compute. I think that was kind of phenomenal, and this has created that the pressure. So this phenomenon will continue. I am sure it will force all the other LLM and solution providers to come out with a low cost compute, and effectively this will bring down the compute cost, and the whole thing can run on a CPU. In fact, in Tata Elxsi, what we have done, we have run the inference models of different sizes from DeepSeek into our normal i5 Intel based processors, and ran some of the algorithms ourselves. We ran some of the reasoning tests. We ran some of the some of our day-to-day tasks which we do using where LLM is used, all locally hosted. And we were kind of amazed to see that it does a pretty good job of all of that. And so that kind of gives whole initiative, in the industry, where the whole inferencing with LLM can be brought onto the edge. So you can actually employ the best of the RAG models, get the knowledge graphs, get your local domain specific data, which usually is very difficult to put it across the cloud and get it. So many customers or many of our internal process will not allow, and getting all of that processed in a local machine and giving all the same quality. And that's a thing we are seeing, and maybe a few more examples I'll give later on as it comes in the discussion.
Okay. But tell me one thing: have we tried internally on any hardware? What was the cost of the hardware? Have we done any POCs on the same?
Sure. And one of our, a very, I'm sure is everybody's favorite edge platform is our, Raspberry Pi. So in fact, we ran up the models in Raspberry Pi, and we already talked about the Intel Core i5 CPUs, 1.6 gig, and we tried both the smallest one, the 1.5B model, as well as the 70B, the bigger model. The 1.5B model, which is actually for the edge, it was not performing that well, in especially on the language scales and the RAG specific use cases. But on the other, the reasoning and math problem, it was generally good. A lot of work to be done if you are actually using on a embedded platform. So embedded platform readiness is still not fully baked, and probably we'll wait for the more upgrades of the model. But the 70B models, which is an R1 distill Llama 70B, so that is really really good. I mean, reasoning capability is excellent. It could cross all the math problems which we gave. I mean, not the Math 500 one I talked about earlier, but we have our own selected sort of benchmarks we usually do whenever a new model comes, and which is more tuned towards our type of use cases. And overall language codings and it is good, and the tokens per second was pretty good. 275 tokens per second is actually good, and whereas the 1.5B model is pretty low. I mean, in fact, you can actually see a whole thing in a slow motion kind of a scenario, which is still not yet ready, I would say. But the general model is which is 70B is pretty good. In fact, we tried to run a robotic instructions using these the small model, and we could do a collaborative lower demonstration using that. And these are the earliest days, and a lot many things are possible. And in fact, in the media specific use cases, we have started using some of the places where the VLMs, which are like video language models. So these VLLMs are a very specialized language model just for video and image. And some of them are, the VLMs are very powerful for many computer vision based use cases. So many of the VLM use cases can be replaced with these low cost compute solutions. So maybe we'll, as we speak in the further, when we'll give more and more examples on how specifically for media and entertainment industry we are able to, employ this and get the benefit, and how is it solving some of the core, either it is a post processing or a pre-production scenarios, adding some very exciting use cases, creating data centric use cases for media industry. So there are a lot of things to talk. So let's hear from.
Got it. Now, since you are talking about the use cases, Bis, let me ask you, like, as a head of AI Center of Excellence, so what are the opportunities you see here for the media and entertainment industry, and what are the challenges?
Yeah. So media and entertainment industries have been a good case where data is always, I mean, data comes in various shapes and forms, and it typically helps for, combining all these data which comes, whether it is a user experience data, or it is a network data, or a CDN performance data. So everywhere you cut, or any way you cut, it actually ends up, some or the other impact on the NPS score of customers. So and many of these data processing, I mean, if you have to build, very powerful use cases, so all of these needs, very curated bespoke models, and some of them takes a very high level skills, and of course time and money. Now, with these edge-enabled AI large language models, actually it's a powerhouse of many different models with you. So your imagination, your creativity is the only limit where you are. I mean, where you can actually use, and some of these things like hyper personalizations. You can actually process the contents metadata, create, or you can actually create a persona profile based on the user's data in runtime, and generate the content or generate the profile of the user, and then match it together and deliver it to the end thing. And that is the power of these kind of, the models. And of course, for M&E farms, it gives a greater autonomy in terms of, as I said, the edge compute capability. So all the models can be hosted inside the premises without much data going outside, thereby the cost of ownership of the solutions or TCOs are greatly, favorable and very positive. And you are getting everything on a platter, all those models. And of course, because the data doesn't go out so much, only little data may go out. So your security concerns, data privacy concerns, content integrity concerns, so all those gets addressed in a way. So you have, imagine you have a bunch of servers where all the local hosted models, and you serve all the use cases, most powerful use cases. And I think that's the place people want to be, and that's what the many media and entertainment industries are looking for, and that's how it is exactly is getting enabled as it. And of course, the AGI, I mean, we talked about this immersive experience, avatar-based scenarios, where the differentiation between a computer-generated image versus the actual natural image. These things actually blurring. There are today many models which are creating photorealistic and I mean almost natural looking content. So that actually gives another advantage for this broadcast for on the content side. So they can reduce the production costs significantly by using this by crossing between these two types of the contents and seamlessly offering a customer choice. So that's the future, or not. I will not say in future. That is what this. I mean, an immediate time frame is beckoning. Of course, it comes with a set of I would not say big threats or so, but it's like any new technology comes with a set of its own pitfalls, and it's all about how do we use it and how do we keep it in control. Uh, it's a different types of work environment. It's a different types of type of skill and talent. People has to kind of get used to into these kind of things. Some people might get threatened, some people are excited, so there are always these two friends of people who will probably have difference of opinions. But I think at the end of that, it's all for good and all for better experience for our consumers and growth for the industry.
Got it. That's great, Bis. Let me call upon Ajay. Ajay, can you help us? Can you take us through some use cases in the media value chain and let us know like how it is impacting those use cases?
Sure. Thanks, Deepika. And it is quite interesting conversation so far. Mohan, thanks for your insightful information and wish. This is really great to hear what Tata Elxsi is doing with respect to AI and any kind of emerging technology. Uh, as the end consumers and getting into the customers, what I can see looks into the trends, what is happening in media and entertainment industry today. So, lot of globally merger and acquisitions are very heavy. So people are merging, organizations are merging, so organizations is acquiring other organizations. So that is on a high. Second, post COVID, what we have seen is there is a huge cost pressures globally, and that cost pressure is putting everyone to innovate something. And in this type of time, a technology like generative AI, agentic AI, and various other actions, activities which is happening, that is absolutely critical and should be adopted very quickly for the situations what the market at this moment demand. And like Bish says that, are you excited? I'm very, very excited to see what kind of innovations or shift is happening which we need to be looking for. So giving you certain use cases before looking into what can be on the value chain discussions. I mean, who else does not know a content creations which is being happening maybe with respect to Fox. They are creating all their movies or most of their movies trailer creating using Gen AI. That is one of the greatest use case I have seen, and that is fantastic to know. Video editing, when you look into the post production site, editing sites, there are tools like Runway, etc., are being used so popular by most of the post production studios today. So you may go into Bish was talking about recommendations, personalizations, etc. Netflix, our means we all know that how big usage of recommendation and personalization being used by Netflix. Look into Spotify, means the all song selections. They are definitely pioneer in selecting that. So absolutely great with respect to the situations which is changing. And let me talk about certain use cases with respect to the studios itself. So getting into a studio, may it be development to a post production cycle, may it be starting from development to a pre-productions or a production or a post production life cycle. uh, what are the area people are or any of our customers, I can see people using generative AI in a large way. Let it be a starting from a script analysis. We could see huge amount of efforts are going over there. People are doing proof of concepts over there, while some of the organizations are well ahead in the value curve. But however, things are changing at this moment. So when we look into the script analysis, may it be look into the entire value, how the script analysis is happening, may it be a script breakdown to a sentiment analysis, how does the content is looked upon with the sentiment. So that's happening with respect to using Gen AI. The market fit predictions, so which content will be looking into great in which area. So that's a market fit analysis is happening in a big way. So a script to genre, market, all these are getting debated on the scripting activities. May it be a storyboarding, maybe the next step if you look into the pre-production side, storyboarding, animations. Pixar is using animation a lot using generative AI. So VFX planning is something in a big way. Organizations are looking into it. May it be the likes of sports, or may it be animated content. VFX planning is getting big way. So while we look into the moderate adoptions on the script, moderation adoptions with respect to pre-production cycle, what we could see on the production, certain activities are actually getting into a maturity level. So think about a transcript generation. So when we look into transcript generations, voice, text to voice, voice to text, that's the activity very very mature today. uh, and with that, organizations are what they are looking into breaking the transcript to content creations also. So certain content which is during the production cycle, they're looking into can it be generated through AI. Anchor-led videos. Vish was talking about certain content which is a avatar-driven content. Certain news channels in Japan, in China, during their graveyards, they are using avatars to read the news, which is definitely low risk, but definitely saving a lot of cost for them when it is all avatar driven content during the, maybe you can say, talk about the graveyards activity. Something which is from the post production side, I will definitely love to talk about the content localizations. And all the content today is global, and how you can make a localized global content is the mantra today. And bringing the aspect of language options, and today we can see any content, there are several languages are getting into it. So how we can generate more language for every content. So dubbing, the captioning activities are the activity which is very very nicely getting into all the content which is getting generated through generative AI today. We do have our own products and solutions in and around of that. So it has quite a good adoption. So this is the need of the hour if we look into the content localizations point of view. uh, this is what is happening on the content creations. But when we look into the activities related to content streaming, content playout, that's also many other activities are happening. Maybe we can talk about the value chain with respect to a content streaming. So how we can look into the content supply side. So QA automations, how you can look into QA, quality of experience, when a content is getting played out. That's one of the activity which is being used very very popularly today. Uh, I would like to take a pause and talk more about a very strong area where the adoption level is pretty high today. And that's with respect to looked into the content metadata and the content retrieval management. When I'm talking about content metadata, once a content is generated, we need to have a lot of associate informations like metadata informations, which has lot of value. across the value chain. So think about recommendations, thinks about a personalizations, thinks about a monetizations with respect to a advertisement. Content metadata play a very major role over there. And what we would like to say and see in various of our customer is that's like a run a mill being used using AI and Gen AI, and to push a content, uh, more than 60-70% of the metadata are getting auto generated using Gen AI. A synopsis creations with respect to uh, a content. So we all see synopsis are very critical aspects of content search and also content adoptions point of view. So every consumer would like to hear it out or read it out before they would actually like to consume the content. So that's where the metadata management play a very, very strong role. Uh, One of the area where again generative AI is, though it is moderately used, but we strongly feel that the adoption level will be pretty high in the near future. So, and that will be the area of marketing and monetizations, while content facing tech with respect to recommendations, etc., which we are talking about. But marketing and monetizations is one of the area where the adoptions is getting very strongly. I'll talk a bit more about marketing over here. When we look into marketing, which part of the content, so creating a reels from a movie and pushing that to a social media platform like a Instagram or a TikTok might be very, very standard activity today, and I'm sure every content creators are doing today. But how we can automate that activity? Automate that activity by picking up, looking into the content, picking up the worthy marketing worthy content, pick up a 20 seconds out of that, and automate that content or augment that content with various other informations and push it to a social media platform or a short video platform. That's kind of activity is gaining momentum over there, and that's can be actually truly automated end to end. We don't need to look into any manual interventions with respect to that. Secondly, I was talking about monetizations. When we look into monetization, advertisement, and you can definitely charge a better CPM if it is much more targeted, much more personalized. So when we look into personalized content, can we look into personalized advertisement also, targeted advertisement also? So and where to place that advertisement? So aspect of content contextual comes into the picture. So uh, just as an example, if you are watching a car race movie or a James Bond movie and showing a BMW advertisement might be very, very appropriate at that moment. So how we can show that advertisement right at the moment when the uh, consumers or the viewers feeling is at the peak, and that time the conversions could be the highest. So that's the aspect of monetizations when we are talking about uh, customer services. In when we look into the entire streaming services, the adoptions is pretty mature today, and what organizations are doing today, using the bots, using a AI driven social media command center. What a social media command center would be doing it, looking into the the impressions or the charter on a social media and how quickly they can react to that charter, typically organizations reputations management, and how quickly we can respond to that particular viewers. If there are any problem, how quickly we can solve. All these aspects are getting automated and Gen AI supported. So that's something which is getting matured today. And if there are aspects which we need to you think any of the organizations think that that's something of making any sense, we will be there to support you for sure. uh, that's with respect to the customer support. uh, this is broadly, Deepika, to bring your question, what organizations are today currently doing with respect to either a content creation side or a content products production side, from my view.
Yeah. But it's really good to know, Ajay. I mean, the short content, as you mentioned, reels and all are really popular these days. Can you give me some more example about specifically about the content distribution and the monetization? Like monetization, everyone is into it, every company, even the individual influencer. So can you give some more example related to that?
Sure. So when we look into two aspect of monetization, a direct monetizations like a advertisement, or how you can manage the consumer to sustain in your platform so that the directly or indirectly monetizations improves, right? The cost of churn is very high, we all know. So AI, ML, Gen AI are popularly being used to know the aspect of customer lifecycle management, look into the customer value, lifetime value, and also look into what are the probability a churn can happen for in any platform, and how quickly. So the aspect of predicting churn is very very critical so that the engagement can happen to retain that customer. So when we look into uh, the customer value systems, that's one of the aspects which we work very heavily to look into how to retain the customer, how to eliminate the churn, the cost of marketing, if I may say, in a Indian ecosystem. To acquire a customer for a digital platform is anything between 10 rupees to 60 rupees. So that is in India, and in US that is much higher when we look into the cost of a single download itself. So how we can manage that the consumer is not moving out from the platform. Not only the content, the engagement also play a very very major role. And today, if you look into the customer life cycle in any platform, that can be managed, that can be looked upon using technology over here, and see that what probability is any customer can move out. That's all aspect like Vish was talking about personas, right? So on the similar technology, which we can look into the engagement score and the churn scores over there. So that's one thing which helps with respect to retaining the subscriber. So improving the subscribers number is one aspect of monetizations. When I look into the monetizations, like direct monetizations like advertisement and all, uh, contextual, which I was talking about. Now marrying the content and also looking into the content with respect to the brand presence in any content, how we can tag that particular brand to create a associations with any retail platform. So looking into Bish is wearing a nice jacket in a content, can I and Bish is a celebrity, as we all know. So can we push that jacket to a Flipkart and sell that particular jacket? And from the content, can we send it to the consumers directly to a commerce platform? So content commerce is getting momentum over here. And classic example, what Prime Mini, that is in India, Mini TV, which is now Mini TV only, which is along with the Amazon, how they have integrated their brand selling. So all these are the nice example when we looked into not only a direct advertisement, we can do a commerce from there itself. That's the aspect which is innovative and also path breaking.
Got it. Got it. But I think there are so many dimensions and must be very difficult, and it is like little complex for the customers to navigate through it. So tell me one thing, Bis and Ajay, like how we are helping our customer, in navigating all through these dimension and creating a persona, what they actually need. What is your perspective on that?
Yeah, so maybe I think customer is the king here. I mean, they are getting small tweak choices, and And like we talked about monetization, we talked about ad models, targeted ads, etc. So these M&E industries love ads. They want to push ads as much as possible, and usually in a traditional sense, the customers are the end users. They do not like so much. I mean, that's why you have all those different way to handle. But since the things are getting personalized, and that even the targeted ads are targeted, so that kind of gives a person to kind of I mean feel enabled, like, yes, I'm making the right choice. Yeah, so to do all that, I think all of these needs a good platform. So that's where to deliver all these services, there is a platform which actually is the end of the day, which actually makes all these things possible. So in Tata Elxsi, as a one of the largest service towards the media and entertainment industry, so we have been working on building the platforms, building the tools, and working with our very important customers to deliver all these services, and progress towards a more AI centric, AI fast way. So this is a typical view. I mean, at the you have all the hyperscalers components, infra for security, the ops monitoring systems, and then you have this data layer. So data layer is where all the data comes in, analytics, pre-processing, the established data pipeline. So many of these customers all the customers, they do have their own data processing centers, data warehouses, the data pipelines which actually deliver these services. All we need to bring these data where that the proverbial the road meets the tire, road meets the tire, or tire meets the road. So where you have these foundation models, and the full stack Gen AI service. So when you say full stack Gen AI service, it is primarily LLM and above. So the LLMs are definitely the building blocks, and then we have the model serving layer, the model training layer, and model training layer, because you need to constantly fine tune these models. You need to constantly build all these the agentic frameworks which can exploit these models performances for serving the right use cases. And then top you have the application orchestration layer. So this is how a typical of course it's a very very abstracted view of the platform. There are a lot of things under the hood, and there are platforms which are already established. There are platforms which customer has already built and doing all these. So all these the verticalized applications, be it on the NPS improvement, the chart scenarios, or the targeted advertisements, or the other monetization things. And there is a whole lot of things on the content side itself. Content post productions, number of use cases are really really many. For example, things like your simple feature like skip intro. When you are binge watching, nobody likes that intro keep repeating, right? And everybody wants to skip, and people are more and more using AI centric way to skip that. Then you have those watchable contents or bite sized contents. So the entire content of 20 minutes or 40 minutes is compressed within 2 minutes or under 3 minutes kind of a segment, and that has all the punch, all the spices of the whole 30 minutes is actually condensed into it. And then there are trailer generation, there are highlights for the sports, there are augmented sports statistics enabled show reels, and which is easily shareable into the social medias, etc. So there are plethora of use cases. And not only that, even on the content generation side, where people are in the content generation side, people are looking for these you know creating these aging de-aging functions. So I mean, in Hollywood especially, or any movies, you want to show a character across the time scale. So, and today, because of these advanced AI models and these the LLMs have actually given the capability, like you can really really spend very less time to do all these motion effects or artifacts and added, and the I mean very powerful output, or the use case can be delivered. So and they of course that's how the end users see it. They see it through the mobile, smart TVs, chatbots, and platforms. So this is an approach towards serving our customers what you call again the full spectrum services for their content.
Got it. Ajay, you want to add something on this, like how we are helping here our customer?
Yeah, so like when Bish was talking about this modelings, etc., which is there, but I'll talk about a very core base services when we look into uh, mm, adopting or implementing any kind of generative AI, may it be on a cloud or if you would like to run from your frame on prem. Infrastructure is core, and while we also looked into how the right sizing of the infrastructure, like Bish was talking about, a Raspberry Pi can run a DeepSeek, which is absolutely cost effective. How similarly we need to be looking into which kind of infrastructure should be running the model which is expected by the customer. So while there are pithoras of model, so you could see there are so many service providers are building their own model, more new LLMs coming in. The key aspect which we need to consider over here, which model is appropriate for the workload which the customer is considering, and what could be the right kind of infrastructure to run that. So that's always optimized way of looking into it. And because of our center of excellence, we know what to do and what to run in a particular workload. And that's where I think Tata Elxsi can partner any of our customers to create anything related to their workload on a much more effective way, optimized way. So with respect to maybe infrastructure, with respect to maybe collecting the right kind of data, because that's the essence of any models, any ML model, any AI model, which we be doing. So we have the precise engineering capabilities also to talk about over here, to how to capture the data. One of the industry problem, if I may talk about, many organizations, when they would like to start anything on a ML or a AI model, they face challenges with respect to inadequacy with respect to the data captures and all. So they may face challenges with respect to that. So when we get into it, we have our own model to look into how to capture the data, how to use that particular data, creating the pipelines with respect to this, how to integrate that with various tools. That's our core capabilities, and that's where we'll definitely play a major role and bring the differentiator than many other organizations.
Got it. I mean, it's really amazing. It's really great to know how we are helping our customer at Tata Elxsi. So let me ask every one of you to just summarize your perspective on AI and DeepSeek and its effect on media industry. Let me start with Mohan. Mohan, how would you summarize it for everyone?
Sure, Deepika. I think the way to think about this is we are seeing AI and Gen AI get to mainstream now, and this is obviously attracting capital. It's attracting the right kind of talent, and this is going to lead to a rapid evolution and many forms of innovation that will come all through the stack. It will come in terms of hardware, training, data center deployments, etc. What we've seen with DeepSeek is a step function improvement in efficiency. And perhaps it's come from an unexpected place, putting China on the map. But these innovations will happen continuously, and we shouldn't think of them as something that's one off. The trend is positive. If you put everything that Ajay, Bis said, etc. I mean, our view is certainly that what this points out to is the fact that this is a lot more real, and that this is something that's becoming available with broader capability for cost that might be a little easier. We talked about the fact that this can actually push things to smaller infrastructure, which might make edge use cases, edge compute use cases much more possible. And I think it's also making maybe things like the overall open source models a little more real. If you think about this in terms of impact, I think it'll come down to the fact that it is going to benefit users in bringing down costs. It is going to benefit us in terms of being able to use models in places in with smaller compute footprints. It is going to help us, get to use cases that were a little more difficult to do in the past with pure cloud infrastructure. And all of this is a positive for us as an industry, and for use cases that across industries will lead to adoption and moving of this technology to the mainstream. We should continue as a consequence to watch out for these innovations, but not stop our investments and our overall strategy on the AI, Gen AI space. In fact, if anything, it sort of signals the fact that there is a necessity to move sooner than otherwise, just given everything that we are starting to see coming together in the space of AI and Gen AI overall.
Got it. Yeah. Bis, your view?
Yeah, sure. I think I perfectly agree with Mohan's very well summarized, and that's exactly the trajectory, and it's definitely a step function as far as the AI industry is concerned. So I also kind of concur and come with these three summary points, which I strongly believe. One, of course, is this DeepSeek is a phenomenon. It is not so much the model as such. I think it's a phenomenon. This phenomenon is going to push AI or Gen AI becoming more affordable, more computable, compute worthy, and it will greatly enhance the ROIs. People or the companies who are still on the fence because of security issues, data privacy issues, etc. So that will bring lot many of those customers from that's the other side of the fence towards adoption of the Gen AI. So that's the phenomenon we talk. Second is Gen AI on the edge. Last year, when the Gen AI was coming, it was very difficult to imagine that Gen AI will be ever be possible to run on the edge. Today, that is possible. I think that is fact is established. And third is, of course, the autonomy. And the more and more agentic AIs will be possible. Very high degree of autonomous self applications will be possible. And the concern that this is going to, remove people's job or things. I somehow believe the Jevons paradox. Like if things are affordable, there will be lot many people who will be able to use it, and that will create that many more job opportunities and so on. So these are the 3 points I leave with.
Yeah, let's hear it from you, Ajay.
Yeah, so totally agree, Mohan and Vish. From me, I could see that DeepSeek is bring that inflection point for everyone in the market to look into how a generative AI model, a Llama model, how can be it will be much cheaper, so that the adoptions level globally can be done. And I can talk about I was reading something on Pika Labs, Kyber AI, all these things on the video generations. They are doing fantastic with respect to costing point of view. They have certain paid model which all starting with some $5 to $12 kind of cost, which is means unbelievable. So uh, when we look into that type of costing today, I am 100% sure that the organizations where they have a cost pressures also, they will look into this very favorably. And that will definitely bring the competitive edge. Today, think from a delivery point of view, how generative AI is bringing the quality by experience by choosing the right CDN, etc. It is not only looking into the cost advantages, it is also giving you the advantages with respect to being much more competitive, much more means you deliver better to your own customer. So my strong request suggestions is adopt, start do some level of POC if you have not started doing it. Start looking into which kind of workload which simply to move on and how we can take it to the next level. And that's kind of suggestions I may have to all of you, whoever is listening to us, and it is really great to hear, let's be part of this.
Yeah, understood. I mean, thanks to all the esteemed speaker. I mean, for sharing valuable insight with all of us today. Definitely, it has made us much more aware about DeepSeek and its impact on the media and entertainment industry, especially the use cases. Now I will ask my audience if they have some questions, they can share it over the platform so that we can answer. Let me check. Okay. So the first question which we have received is like, is the adoption of Gen AI and DeepSeek genuinely transformative, or it is just a passing trend? Mohan, I think you are the best person to answer this question.
Yeah, I mean, I'll bring it back to the point that I was making earlier, because in that I think we should think about this as something that's transformational, but it's also something that we should expect, just given the amount of attention that the space is getting with capital investments, with the talent that it's attracting, etc. In fact, if anything, it makes this whole thing a lot more real. And as Ajay has mentioned, makes it a lot more usable in the current context. So I certainly think the way to think about this is that overall AI adoption is definitely transformational. DeepSeek is a fairly big step change, and in that sense, it's sort of furthering that phenomena. And while we've seen multiple hype cycles in the past, this time around, we genuinely believe with the kind of capability that these models are already showing, that there are use cases that will drop value through, as Ajay was mentioning, in multiple sectors, including ME, that we've talked about fairly extensively. So I'll double down on the point that Ajay was making on the whole theme of getting into POCs and thinking about this as something that's genuinely transformational, and embedding it into the organizational strategy.
Got it, got it. So, guys, it's not a buzz, so it is really, really helping, and it's real this time. So, the next question is, what role does AI play in combating deep fakes and the misinformation in media? Uh, Bis, you would like to take it up?
Yes, I think every technology, as I was mentioning earlier, has its own advantages and also bring its own bugs or rough edge. And deepfakes is one output of that, and it's going to be, and it is becoming more and more powerful. It is indistinguishable, and etc. So on that. So, but AI alone, AI is also solving it. In fact, we have created a solution and a patent is pending, so where we can actually embed certain signature into the video very seamlessly and recover that signature that this is an authentic content. This content is owned by certain the content owner, and that is kind of attack proof. And with no matter how you copy, whether you take a mobile camera, we can record with that and transfer in how many other ways, still that signature will be there. So that's the power. So we'll use AI as a power to combat these things. And in fact, a deepfake detection is becoming a generic feature or a normal feature with any web browsers or any content processing systems, or even in mobile phones. I mean, in fact, this deepfake detection is becoming a feature itself. Like, you can actually immediately just a swipe of a thumb, you should be able to detect, or you should be able to tell this is, and AI will tell, yeah, it thinks 80% it is fake, it is not authentic, etc. So and so. So there is AI again, which is solving. So that gives more work for people like us, and I'm happy about it that I have more problems to work with.
Yeah. The next question is, how AI driven solution improve advertisement strategy and the return on investment? I think Ajay, you would like to take it up, right?
Yes, I think we've spoken about advertisement also during our talk, but bringing back certain recap to what we discussed. Yes, advertisement to the older era, when we look into broadcast based advertisement, which was like the technology say broadcast, it used to same advertisement going to everyone, to the current era where we actually would like to see the advertisement which we like to see. That's the technology which is helping over here. So obviously much more targeting, audience targeting, persona driven advertisement. When we are looking into persona, not only looking into the personas with respect to the characteristics of a person's, also the economical, socio-economical status of person. So how we can look into giving, if the persona is a fun loving, but however the person is poor, I should not be advertising him a high value car. Similarly, if the persona is fun loving person or lovable persons, can I give him a flower advertisement itself? So that's the aspect which is coming very very strongly over here, along with the generative AI. And so it is actually capturing much more effective informations, which will make the ad targeting much better. uh, Today advertisement creation, ad creations is something also being used when we are talking about content creation. Ad creations is also getting in a big way. So ad creative creations, may it be a programmatic, when we are looking into how in a programmatic we can do a automatic bidding. That's kind of things are also, activities are also getting AI supported, AI driven. Sentiment analysis of advertisement, you can any advertisement can jeopard a brand if that's been not put properly. So how we can look into any ad creative and bring up the sentiments of that particular across the globe. So because today the market is not a country, market is a globe. So how we can look into every ad creative, bring out the sentiment analysis in every look and corner of the globe. So not only it is advertisement, the pre activity, post activities are also getting supported through advertisement. And that would be just to add what we have spoken or discussed earlier over here. Obviously ROI will improve when it is more targeted, or content commerce will improve when it is much more targeted and driven to a commerce site, which we talked about.
Got it. So you mean it is helping both the advertisers, agency, as well as the content owners also. Everyone is making money out of it. Got it. So the next question is, what regulation should be put in place to monitor AI generated content in industry, and the how AI help us to meet the regional content, because everyone is going globalized. The question is how it is helping us to meet regional content at consumption compliances. So yeah, this and Ajay.
Yeah, so maybe very quickly, I know that we're reaching to the end of the hour,
Mhm.
and so I think there is the talk about sovereign models, sovereign LLMs and things. So it's talking about every country is bringing, or at least trying, is a effort towards bringing those models which are very local flavor, local data sets, local language, and local everything. So that is one thing which is very important. So where even India, I mean, our Prime Minister has already announced that there will be a India AI, and the RFPs are being asked for, and many participations are happening, and we are also looking at very closely. So in these entertainment industries, media specifically, where and countries which has multiple culture, language, regions, and options. So there, these local flavored LLMs, or sovereign compute LLMs, is one important. Second is there are a lot of work happening on the regulatory space, data security policies, and there are a bunch of things coming up. Our India AI missions and Niti Aayog also is coming out with set of regulations, and already these are in proposal stage, draft stage, and we are seeing that. And we have seen EU Act, EU AI Act, which talks about how it stratifies the risk of AI implementation, and low risk AI applications to high risk AI applications, and every risk elements has to be processed, and there are certain pros and cons, and different uh, ways to deal with that. So that is how at every country, every major players who are actually working towards that. And finally, I mean, every great power comes with great responsibility. So all of us who are into this and have responsibility to, and at the end of the day, it is the individual, right? I mean, every individual has to be cautious what they're doing, how they're using the technology, and how they are actually using this power with a great responsibility and caution.
Great. I think Vish summarized it well. I will also talk bit add up with respect to maybe ethical or on advertisement side. On ethical side also, there are regulatories are coming up. Every platform has their own self-compliant, self-moderated activity. We look into every short video platform. They are tagging. They are asked consumers to tag for any UGC to if it is AI generated. So that's all are in a right directions over here. FTC in US probably is creating a lot of advertisement regulatories over here. So that's something they initiated this, and probably all over the globe, all other countries probably will follow that one. So privacy laws, the copyright laws, all these things are coming on a big wave, which is right things to do to adopt the technology in a rightful way.
Got it. Yeah.
Mohan, yeah.
You want to add something more?
All good. Yeah.
So I think with this we have come to the end. Thank you all for staying and engaging. And if you would like to further continue discussing with us on these topics, please feel free to reach out and stay tuned for multiple discussions like this. Have a great day. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day. Bye
Thank you.
bye.
Bye.